YouTube. Hello to our friends. We are starting in a few seconds. Okay. It's ready when you are. Shall we start?
Yes, sounds great.
Super. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode number 20. Be relentlessly yourself and take on life with the wonderful Evelien van Es. The title is the magnificent book that Evelien wrote during the pandemic, thus making things work despite hardship. This book is published in 2021, and Evelien will tell us more about it. Before we start to know our wonderful guest more, let me tell you a few words about her amazing experience so far. She works as an international speaker, sparring partner, author, team coach, and is founder of Signature for Success. It's her passion and mission in life to inspire and set her audience and clients in motion and help them transform their lives. She works with senior managers and entrepreneurs, individual and as well as in groups, that feel somewhat stuck. Most of us are here, so it's wonderful to hear more from you about this. She also inspires them to create clarity from within and increase their self awareness so that they can use their inner power of being and unique added value. This will allow them to become successful in what they do and, above all, experience a feeling of fulfillment. This is amazing, Evelien. Welcome with us today.
Thank you so much. Lovely to be here with you.
You have quite an experience, and it's an honor to learn from you. And would you please start by telling us how did this wonderful book come up in your life? What's the story behind it?
Yeah. Well, COVID started last year around March, in this area actually. And for me, it was really a gift, a time gift of nature, where I was really called to write the book. And of course, after so many years of experience, both in the corporate world as well as my 15 years in entrepreneurship, you'll build up on so much knowledge and experience. And I think that's just a wonderful timing where it all came together. And I started writing the book. I published it in 2 languages, in Dutch as well as in English. And it's, be relentlessly yourself is really my personal topic, but also a topic for a lot of people that are actually looking for happiness, looking for fulfillment in what they do, and are usually looking for solutions outside themselves instead of really going inward. And I think a lot of people are feeling that something is missing in their life. And but all the answers are within us. And I think this book really helps you to find these answers within and to understand yourself better. And it's so that's just a little bit about a book, but I could go on and on about it. I'll let you ask a couple of questions.
Please do. Please tell us about how you got to be so involved in helping people to be relentlessly themselves. I would love it if you would tell us everything about it, because it does sound magnificent, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at my career, even back in the corporate world, where I was always working with teams and individuals, and I loved to see people, to see them for who they truly are, because sometimes people are feeling as if they're not worth it, or they're not successful enough, and to help them to really get to the core about what is really going on, and to step beyond fear and to understand your own patterns that keep you stuck from moving on. And so that was something I always loved. I love people to start off with, because that's the foundation of what I do. Because I think if you don't love people and you don't love the differences that we all have, I think it's impossible to do the work that I do. So I think that's step one. And I think is that for myself in my own journey in life, very often, even in the corporate world, but later on, I was always looking for something different. I was changing jobs just about every 2 years. And when I started my interim management work, I was, changing for different jobs and different teams. And I think that all of these changes were because I was looking for something. I was looking for something that was giving me that feeling of deeper fulfillment. And only when I started my full-time coaching business 7 years ago, I really felt like I'm doing something that I truly deeply love, and that gives me the space to work on my terms, to do stuff where I can really feel like I'm contributing to other people's transformation. And it's giving me a feeling of fulfillment, of deeper fulfillment, that I'm really living my purpose. And so that's just a little bit about my journey and how it got me to write that book where, it's just another vehicle of what I do in my speaking and what I do in my coaching, where I help people to really to get to the essence within themselves so that they can live that in their lives. Because so many people are just looking for what should I be doing, and they don't know what next steps to take, or they're stuck in their feelings of fear or whatever is going on. But to help them to really break out of that and to really step into a flow where you can really see that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in this life.
Wow, this is very beautifully said, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing this with us. And why do you think so many people struggle with finding their real purpose in life? Is it maybe more than fear, or what's your opinion on this?
Yeah. Well, a purpose, we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose when we're born in this world. But during our life, because of our experiences, we have to remember and discover what that purpose is. Because usually, because of all our nurturing, how we grow up and what our parents teach us, or the people that are taking care of us, we have to get back to really remembering what that core essence is within us. And so actually, purpose is something that you can discover when you look back in your life, as if it's something where you can see the theme in all the different challenges that you've been through, what your passions were in life, what you loved as a child, and to really understand how this has created what your unique story is. And from your unique story, you can discover what your true purpose is. But it is only possible if you really, and that's the subtitle of my book, take on life. So that means that you really learn from past experiences, and that you can see why you made certain decisions in the past. And sometimes they were more heartfelt, and sometimes you made them out of willpower, or that you wanted to forcefully, more from using that willpower of getting things done. You wanted to create things. And once you understand and you see, and you can see these patterns, that's really the foundation of discovering your purpose. But to be very honest, it took me quite a while to be able to really see that deeper purpose for me in my life. And there's a wonderful quote, actually, of Mr. Greg, he's called. He said something like, if your purpose is something you could be fired from, it's not your purpose. And I think it's a wonderful quote, because your purpose is really applicable to both your personal life, yourself, your job, everything, every aspect of life. That's what your purpose is applicable to. But yeah, I could talk a lot about purpose, because it is a very, very interesting topic.
It is very inspiring, and I would love it if you would tell us what is the best way to learn from your past mistakes so that you can get closer to finding that purpose that really ignites us.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is that not to see these as mistakes, because there are no mistakes. I think that we do things, and sometimes they turn up in a good way. They sometimes turn up in in a way that it hurts our feelings, that are that something happens with us why we're not happy. But to have that, to really forgive yourself about the things that you did in the past that led to something that you're maybe not happy with. It could be a job, or it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be anything. But to really forgive yourself about it, and to see that it's like a coin. It has two sides. It always has a lighter and a darker part. And I think that if you can really see that, and where you can learn and be gentle with yourself, because back then, when you made these decisions, at that point in time, you thought this was best. Otherwise, you would not have decided it. And I think that, and I'm writing a chapter on this as well in my book and it's called Be Gentle with Yourself, is that many people are giving themselves such a hard time by raising the bar, by being extremely negative about ourselves, or that we think we should have done this differently, or we messed up this, or it could be anything. And I think that to see that, and to change that, and to be more gentle with yourself, and to forgive yourself about the decisions you made in the past, I think that's the best foundation of really growing and learning. And this is a part that helps you in finding that purpose, because it's a way of maturity. It's a way of growing your inner wisdom, and by growth of self-awareness, that's the journey to find your purpose in life.
Thank you for mentioning this. I love it when you say that you need to be gentle with yourself, because to be honest, no one else is going to judge you more than you judge yourself. And when you get to understand that, yes, I did everything that I could with the means that I have back then, maybe it's time to just let the past rest. Take what's good from it, and let it go. Be who you truly want to be without that burden. And would you have maybe a specific technique that you use with helping people to forgive themselves? Because I'm pretty sure that a lot of our listeners and viewers are curious to maybe make peace with their past once and for all.
Yeah. Well, what I use very often in my work is to help my clients to really be aware of the words they speak, the thoughts they think. And these could be very, very small things. Even today, I was with a coaching client, and she was mentioning something about, I'm not good at this, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. And then I said, do you hear what you say? Do you see what you say? As if this would be a mirror that I would help her confront. And I think these are small things when you can really train yourself to become the observer, as if you're observing yourself. And when you're listening to the words that you speak and the thoughts you think about yourself, and once you become more aware of that, you can make a decision to change it and to become more gentle with yourself. And this is extremely important because I think that whatever we do, if we do it from a foundation of self-love, it will radiate. It will radiate to everyone that you're surrounded with. And so this is a very specific tip to be aware of the thoughts you think and the words you speak, and start with yourself.
Yes, it all starts from there. Very nicely said. Evelyn, what would be some great lessons that business has taught you over the years?
Yeah. Well, I think the most important thing, and especially because this, I'm an entrepreneur now for 15 years, and I think that looking in the world of business owners, and actually it is applicable for everyone, but especially running your own business, I still see so many entrepreneurs that are applying tricks where they are told by others to do it certain ways. And I think the best investment you can do to grow your business is to invest in yourself and to really build an authentic business instead of really copying what others do. And there is no one fixed way in doing things. There is only one way, and it is getting to the core of who you are and learning how to manifest yourself instead of really chasing things that others do or others have, but to really build that business on a foundation of authenticity. Because when you do that, that's the best, fertile ground actually to grow a successful business. Because just chasing money or chasing more clients, of course, there are things that you can do that will be helpful, but success, in my experience, is you can only experience it as success if it really gives you a feeling of deeper fulfillment.
I completely agree, and I wanted to ask you if you would sense any difference between success, fulfillment, and purpose, or are these three concepts combined? What do you think?
Well, I think that if you live your purpose, it will lead to fulfillment. And I think that success only really feels, you can really experience it as success if you live your purpose and if you really do something where you have a feeling that it fulfills you from deep within. Because I have experience with clients and people that do make a lot of money but are not happy and chasing extra money. And sometimes people say, because I even mentioned that in my book actually, is that, and the other day I'm having a conversation with someone, do you know that there are more books written about how to become a millionaire by people that are not even a millionaire themselves? So, but that is because it is kind of as if it's the trend already for many years to chase materialism, to chase more. And I think we live in a world now where we all have to take our own responsibility for the environment, but also for ourselves, because we're all one. Actually, and I think that understanding that and taking our responsibility, that is really, in my definition, what success is. But that's, I think everybody has a different definition. I think you have this definition of success, but I think a lot of people don't really know, or they haven't really given it a thought about what is it really all about. If you talk about, I want to become successful, what is that for you?
Yes.
Same as people say they want freedom, but what is freedom for you? What is that? These are really important questions, is to really get to the core of that.
I am loving this because I used to be in this position a few years ago when I would use these generic terms as I want to be financially free or financially independent. And I had no idea what I truly wanted to do when I would be financially independent. Okay, I would see myself being at home and do what? And it all goes down, as you said, to the purpose in life.
Yeah,
Find
yeah,
out who you are, what you truly want to have your life looking like, because luckily we are the ones in charge, and playing the victim is very easy. And maybe at one point, most of us were victims in our professional lives, in our personal lives. But then you understand that, hey, you are the only savior, you are the only one that is going to come on that white horse to save you. And I think I was acknowledging this maybe 4 years ago, before I actually started my business, that no one is coming to save me but myself. And it's time that I look beyond those generic terms and find out what success means to me. And yes, since you've asked me, I would say that a great part of being successful would mean being fit and healthy,
hmm,
and eating mostly what you want, and not gaining weight. I'm such a gourmand, so I had to say this. Could you maybe share with us, Evelyn, what does successful mean to you?
Well, I think that for me, success is all about doing something where I have a feeling that I'm really contributing. Because by contributing to other people's transformation and changes, that really gives me a feeling of deeper fulfillment. And to be that beacon of light, to be that person that they can sometimes lean on a bit, where they can learn and where they can help and grow. And that's really success. And of course, by having the financial the compensation actually, to be able to go and do my work, to write a book, and to speak, and hopefully in the future be able to do that abroad, as traveling is still possible. I think that I'm doing it all a lot online at the moment, but I think that's really what success is all about. And for me, success is not equal to money, and so that's mainly what it is.
Every person that I talk with, they say that yes, they want money, they like money, they love money, we all need money, but it's not bringing anyone that true fulfillment. And could you maybe share with us, what would you say money means to you? How do you see money?
Yeah, well, money is energy, and I think that it's something that is just a way that that's the way we live. We need money to be able to live, and I think that some people, because everybody has a story around money, and it's usually because of how we grew up. Some people live in a family where everything was possible, and other people, learn that the money doesn't grow on the trees, so you have to. So, and I think that getting to that core about what the story around money is for yourself, I think that's an important way of healing your own story around money. Because I think a lot of people are chasing money, but about when you're chasing it, you're actually, in energy wise, you're expressing that you're in lack of money, so that you don't have money. And so then you're attracting the wantingness instead of really being, because that's all about the law of attraction, is that if you really focus on something that you want it, but then you're doing it in a way where you actually don't really deeply believe it, you're attracting actually the other way, it's the other way around what you're doing. And I think this is about money, but this is also about other things. It's about relationships, about love, it's about business, it's about clients, and to just do what you truly love, do what you have passion for, focus on that, and focus on to really radiate that energy of pureness from within. And once you do that, that's the best foundation to let things flow and also let money flow in your life.
I am loving that you said this.
We could even do a different topic about money sometime,
Yes.
actually.
Yes, I love this because I used to want the wantingness, and it's okay to want things, but put in the energy of I'm going to have it. I feel it. It's close. And it's such a subtle line, isn't it? Between, oh my God, I don't have that money. I want it. And oh my God, I don't have it, but it's close. I can feel it. I'm doing what I love to get it. And these fine lines, and I call them because I'm actually writing a book on this. It's my second book about that subtleties between the emotions that we offer to the things that we want, to the patterns, and creating a lifestyle that's based on changing the coin, as you said, putting it with the brighter side, that gets you to some unimaginable successes in terms of whatever you want to achieve. And it's amazing how only this slight shift in energy, everything is energy. Yes, as you said, money is energy, and we just need to play with it the right way.
Yeah,
Beautifully said.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think we're all human, so I think we all have certain days where you feel different energy. But by becoming more aware of how you can change and shift that energy and to really reset yourself, because our ability to change ourselves is endless. And I think that's the beauty of it. And a lot of people, they think that they're extremely stuck and that they cannot change things, but we can change everything. You can change your entire life if you want to. But it's, yeah, so I think it's also a question of choice.
And luckily, we have that choice to make every single second. And it's not like if you made a choice, it's there for good. Maybe you have to make that same choice or even a better choice next day. And I would love it if you would tell us what made you become so passionate about helping people, because I can feel your drive and your energy even through the screen. What truly drives you? Is it something interior? Is it exterior? Or is it both?
Well, and I think that is by doing the work that I do with my clients, and even when I'm speaking, you feel that sensation in your body, that it's kind of an excitement or it's a thrill, it's a bliss, that feeling that you have when you see that someone is really making progress and they're really changing and that you're touching other people's lives. And that is so much worth for me in my life. And my purpose is be the beacon of light. And that's what I am. That's what I am for myself. So at the days that I'm, in a different mood, I know that I can find that light within myself, and I know how to do that. And I know how to be that for others. And that's just, and you feel it deep within. And that's the beauty of purpose, is that once you get to a point where you live your purpose and you know what your purpose is, there's no doubt about it, because then you're so thrilled about it to live that purpose. And it really is something that leads you in everything that you do in your life. And that's the beauty of it. And so for me, this is and I think one important thing is that in the past, as I shared a little bit earlier, is that question about is this really it, or hopping from job to job. What I'm doing now, and I'm doing the speaking and the coaching and the writing, and I can do this for years and years and years, because I'm constantly learning more about how to become more me, beyond ego, beyond personality, but really get to that core. And that's the journey of life. It's about really the discovery journey of how we can live our lives the way it's supposed to be. And that's, it's never going to get bored.
For sure. And you touched a soft spot for me. Can you please tell me how do you go beyond or about the ego? Because this is something that I myself am still working on.
Yeah.
Can you please maybe give us a tip on this?
Yeah. Well, actually, I do have a chapter around ego because ego, we all have an ego, and ego not per se is negative, but what is important about recognizing when your ego is popping up, and that you can make a choice where you want to let your ego lead you, or you make a choice that is really from deep down, from what your soul is all about. And for example, people that are, that want a nice car or something, whatever, it's of course it's something from the ego if you like it. That doesn't mean per se that it's always bad, to drive a nice car if you want to. But once you're doing everything in your life where you're being led by your ego, it's a very superficial life that you can lead. And because the ego is there to warn us in certain circumstances that are very important. But very often, your ego doesn't serve you because it doesn't lead to that feeling of fulfillment and that truly feeling of happiness. So it's, I shared something about being that observer and learning to see how you think about yourself, how you speak, but also in relation to others, is that become very aware of yourself, and then you will see the difference between what your ego is and what isn't.
Nice. This is some food for thought for me, and I'm pretty sure that for the people listening to us. Thank you for mentioning this. And it's about digging deep and seeing what goes there beyond those human needs and see what actually is happening in your soul, what's happening with your spirit. Beautifully said. And Evelien, what would you advise someone that is young, someone that's at the beginning of their journey? What should they focus on? What should they start with?
Yeah. Well, and I think that if I look at myself when I was young, I was impatient and I wanted a lot and I wanted it quickly and I was ambitious, and I love ambitious and I love the vibes of younger people that want to make a difference and want to change the world and want a lot. But I think that by practicing to build in time of reflection on, preferably daily, but at least weekly, is that don't drive yourself crazy by rushing things, because you have enough time. You have enough time in this life. And I think that's important, is not to rush yourself, but to really be able to enjoy the moment and to enjoy the journey and to take your time, because this is life, and life is not something tomorrow or when we have that million or whatever. That's not what it's all about. But it really is about this. It's about having this conversation. It's about enjoying the connection, and to not rush yourself.
Thank you for mentioning this. I feel such a relief that you said this. 10 years ago, I would be the one saying that until I have a nice car, I cannot be happy. Until I have a manager position, I can't be fully happy. And I was miserable for a long time. And I'm so glad that you said this, because when I was young, I wish I had someone as you are to tell me, hey, smell the roses, enjoy the ride, because tomorrow may never come.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. But the thing is that you have to sometimes have just experience in life and maturity to be able to see that. And I think that's because when you're young, you probably have to go through that stage where you can't see that. You won't be able to, because you just have to find it out yourself. And it's the beauty of it. It's just, find it out yourself in life and give yourself, some years to just do things and then look back on it and think, I would have done it differently, and just experience life and live life.
Yeah. And learn, as you said, learn from those past experiences. And indeed, we couldn't call them mistakes, as you said. There's no mistake. There is what you did with what you knew best then, and it's time that you see the best side of it. Thank you so much for mentioning this, and thank you for your wisdom. And before we go, I want you to tell us what's your favorite thing or chapter about this amazing book of yours.
Oh, now I have to make a choice about my. Actually, well, for me, my book really is as if it's my life work. It is. I wrote it at a certain time in my life where so many things came together about how you can really understand what your contribution is to the world. And I think is about, well, I have a part about understanding, because I think a lot of people are really stuck in feelings of fear. And I have a part in my book where I ask people to really get to the core of what their biggest fear in life is all about. Actually, this could also be a different topic to have an entire podcast about. But I think that's really important, because I think a lot of times we say that we're afraid of things, but then usually it's about something completely different than what we think it is. So I think very often we're tricking ourselves just because we tell ourselves a certain story, but that's not it. And that's what I also have in my book, as I share about how we can really understand how we have created a narrative on so many different topics in our lives. And we keep on repeating that. And if we do that, it's not going to change. So,
Exactly. And maybe you would see fear, as you said, to be very cautious and careful with the words that you use, with the thoughts that you use, because fear is, at the end of the day, something that's only in our head. What do you think about fear, and how do you, Evelyn, get to conquer it on a daily basis if something unexpected happens?
yeah. Well, and I think that that's the beauty of what you just said, is that our soul doesn't know any fear. So fear is something that we have created over something that is often not even there, because it's something that we think might be able to be happening or whatever, but it's not really there. So it really is. It is something that we just came up with, and it is, it's our thinking, our overthinking, that creates that fear. But that's the reason in that book why I ask you that question: what is your deepest fear in life? Is once you know what that is, and you know the deeper layer of that fear, that actually is a lovely, relaxed way of reflecting. Because once you know what that fear is, a lot of other stuff you realize it's not fear at all.
I love it that you said this, because in my work with fear, as I am specialized in working with companies that have fears in taking decisions in their professional lives, I have come to understand that fear is such a generic term that we got to label in a wrong way, but not because we don't know, because we want to do things to hurt us in a conscious way, but it's because it was so convenient to say that, oh, I'm afraid to take this step, but what's behind it? It's something completely different, like you not feeling worthy enough, or you may be having this trauma from childhood when you got to speak in front of the class and people would start laughing. And it's amazing, as you said, when you get to see that there's no fear at all. Actually, you only have to see what's there at the very bottom, and you are completely free to take another step and then see what's there, what's deep. Ask
Yeah,
yourself again and move on. It's actually amazing, and it's very fulfilling to discover that we are completely free with our spirits, and there are no boundaries and no limits at all.
exactly. Yeah,
And before we go, I
yeah.
want our listeners and our viewers to hear me read this amazing feedback that you got from a reader for
Mm,
your book, because I think this is such an important piece of writing. You have put in this book all of your wisdom, all of your energy, all of your experience combined over the years. And I want people to get it. I want people to get in touch with you and learn more about you. And this person actually said this wonderful thing that I completely loved about the Be Relentlessly Yourself and Take on Life book. Her honesty, deep questioning, and insights show a wisdom way beyond her years, as if she is stepping into some essential essence we all carry within but have not yet ignited. It is both food for thought and practical as she combines her reflections with personal experience, interviews with a wide array of people, and cases from her coaching practice. This is beautifully said, and someone saying that you are so far beyond your years may be the most beautiful compliment that you may have gotten in a while. What do you think about you being the one that sparks a light with every single reader? Do tell us, how can we get in touch with your book? How can we order it?
yeah. Well, the book is available on Amazon, and it's available in Dutch and in English. And so on Amazon, for most countries, it's available on Amazon, and also Barnes and Noble. And it depends on what channel you use. So if you just Google on my name and Be Relentlessly Yourself, you'll be able to find the book.
Beautiful. And how can our audience get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and my website is actually my full name, evelienvanes.com, and then /en, or just the English flag. For the English version, it's in 2 languages available, so people can find me there.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time, Evelyn. Thank you for your wisdom, for your energy, for sharing with us tips and tricks on how to be the best versions of ourselves and how to conquer fear. And I truly wish you all the best in the world. And I'm very curious to see you create even more amazing things for the people that you love so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you so much.